Hey there, and this year I'm showing off my build for the Dex Dakra. Now, the Warframe anniversary week thing where they give, like, I don't know, add like 4 or 5 extra missions for you to play, and each one of those missions they would give you a new, very unique looking weapons. Usually, not really unique, they're unique looking, but they're usually based on other weapons. Like, the Cerberus, like what is it called? Is it called the Deka Cerberus? I forget the names. Yeah, the Dex Cerberus. That one, obviously, it's based upon the Cerberus. If I can find it, yeah, see, it's based upon the Cerberus, except a better looking version in my opinion. It's also it performs a lot better. It's a lot better in my opinion. It's very good. And I prefer using it over the Cerberus. I never really liked the Cerberus, but for the Dex Cerberus, I like quite a lot. But for one of the other stuff you can get, because there's one for the for a primary, secondary, and melee weapons. They had like each version. I think I saw the other ones. You also had the Dex Furies, and you also I have Dex Dakers. And for this video, I'll be showing off the build for those ones because I've had these for a couple the build for this for a couple weeks, and I feel like it would be a good build to put out for people that have it and they just have one and they want to put a build for it because honestly, the Dex Dakar, they're not really the best dual sword. They're just not really the best melee weapon in general. They're not really that good. Or they're good enough. They're better than some weapons. Like if they weren't at the level they are, I would probably get rid of them. But they're one of my weaker weapons I have here. Um, but they're pretty good. And I'll show you the build for them because at least let's put up a build for it so people can actually put a build on you that makes this weapon at least decent. And yeah, here it is. So as you can see, this is pretty much very similar to my was it very similar? Pretty much the exact same. Pretty much similar to my Galantine Prime build, as you can see. Yeah, pretty much the exact same mods on here. That's because the positives for the let's go equipped. Positives for the Dex Dakar are very similar to the positives for the Galantine Prime. Has very high. Actually, let's go see. Has oh fuck, yeah. Yeah, there you go. Has very high crit multiplier. Has mainly its damage is mainly in slash. And stats, it's okay. And that's why I haven't really gone into stats so much. The attack speed is also not really the best. It's below 1, so it's not going to be the best weapon because usually you want a good weapon will usually have its attack speed in 1 or higher. Most weapons usually have under 1. Aren't really going to be the best weapon. They will do more damage, but usually good weapons you're able to get like more hits into it, so that's why it's faster because you can get more hits in. That means you can be doing more damage to the enemies. And yeah, the Dex Dakar follows very closely to the Galantine Prime stats. I think they're very similar in stats, except the Galantine Prime is a little higher in damage, but that's because it's a great sword, so what else do you expect? But yeah, they're very similar, so I felt like I should probably put the exact same mods on for this build, the exact same build on. And yeah, if you watch this video and you go and watch this video, you can probably just see this and put that build on because it's the same reasonings. But if you haven't seen my video for the Galantine Prime, I'll explain why I put these mods on. So I put Jagged Edge on because to increase this the slash, because slash is probably one of the best damages in the game. It's very good, very viable, and it's just an extremely useful weapon. That's why weapons of slash with high amounts of slash are usually the best weapons because they have the most damage. They can do They can do with some of the most damage possible. They're very good. And if you don't know what slash does, it pretty much just adds like when it procs onto enemies, it'll take a little bit of health slowly, and then if you do more hits into the enemy, it's going to take it even more. It's going to start taking even bigger chunks of health off, and it's just very good. It just adds that extra damage. It's that proc is just very good. That's why slash is probably considered one of the best damages out of the 3. It's very good. So usually weapons that have it, I usually put Jagged Edge on to increase their slash. I found that especially with the Galantine Prime, it's very effective. I pretty much on the Galantine Prime, I remember I had a build that were pretty much the same, except one didn't have jagged edge and had reach. One, didn't have reach and had jagged edge. Um, and I found the one with the jagged edge did a lot more damage. That's straight up at the very start of an engagement. Didn't do as much damage. Or did the exact same amount of damage. I couldn't really tell. But a couple more hits in, once it got up its crit multiplier and all that, and once the slash proc started procking onto the enemy, it just started like melting the enemy. Big chunks were coming off, and it was just utter damage is coming out of the weapon. So that's why I prefer Jagged Edge. Very good. I would recommend getting it. I don't know where I got it from, but I would search it up. I recommend getting this mod. It's very good, especially with weapons that have slash on it. And then I've also put, Prime Pressure Point. Again, you don't really need Prime Pressure Point. Pressure Point will suffice enough. Let's go see what it changes. The Prime Pressure Point I have now, which is only 135, which compared to 120. It only adds like a little bit, but I have space on my thing up there. I can add it, so why don't I add it? So again, you don't really need it. It's just I just added them because I can. Even though it adds like tiny, like a little bit extra damage, it's why not. I've also added Berserk. As you can see, Berserk increases the attack speed by about 30%, and then it every single critical hits, and that's 30% will add up until it gets about 75%, and that will last about 24 seconds. This is very good, especially for weapons that have really low attack speed. It's very good, very valuable. I would recommend putting it on. If you're going for a crit build, I would recommend putting this on. This makes every single weapon with a crit build even more viable, because it's going to make it so that weapon attack speed is even further. So it means you're going to be putting more hits, and it means you're going to be proccing even more critical hits, and it means you're just going to be doing more damage overall because you're just putting more hits to the enemy. It's just very good. Very viable. I would recommend getting it. Very good. I have it in nearly every single crit build. It's every single crit build. It's just that good of a mod. And it's just really good. But another thing to make this mod more viable, I would recommend getting Blood Rush. Again, getting Blood Rush is kind of hard. I can see it sells for quite a lot. And it's gonna be very hard if you don't have it. Sorry, I don't really know what I can do. But if you can get your hands on this mod, would highly recommend it. Changes it pretty much makes, because before I had this mod, before I was able to do like these kind of crit builds, I didn't like melee weapons. I didn't really like them at all. Once I got Blood Rush, instantly loved melee weapons. They're all really good. They're my main weapons now. They're just awesome, and I love them so much. So I would recommend getting Blood Rush. It's a very good mod. Pretty much changes the way you play when you get it. Very good. It also goes in tandem with Berserk, because it increases your critical chance with every single combo multiplier increased. So that means you're more likely to proc a critical hit. That means you're more likely, and that means because you're more likely to proc a critical hit. That means you're going to have a higher chance of getting to that 75% maximum, which is where you want to go. You want to get to that 75 maximum constantly, because you're going to just kind of have heaps of speed, and it's just very good. Then we also have Drifting Contact, which also goes extremely well with Blood Rush, because it increases your combo duration, also status chance, but that doesn't really matter because it's not a status build. But it increases your combo duration by 10 seconds. And I think, which is really good, because the normal combo duration is like 4 seconds, which is just so minimal. It's just, it becomes useless. Like, combos become useless without this, because it only lasts 4 seconds. Because like saying if you go into engage group and you get your combo up to like a massive amount of number, like a ridiculous amount of numbers, and then you try going to another group that's really far away, by the time you get them, your combo is going to be gone, and that means you won't be doing a massive amount of damage, and the only thing you will still be having is your speed, which is, it's pretty good, but you want to keep up that critical chance, because that means you're just going to be doing buckets of load of damage into the enemy. So it's good to have Drifting Contact on, so that you can keep those combos, those high combo numbers, for as long as you can. I think there's another mod in here that also increases it. That's status duration. I remember seeing there's another mod on here that also does it, but it only has like 1 extra second. Is it body? Oh yeah, increased combo duration. Yeah. So you got body count, which is one mod that does it. You could probably do that. I don't know. I haven't maxed this out, but I don't think it adds as much as this. But yeah, if it does, because I haven't really experimented, it's a mod I've only recently found out exists. So I'll go try that one out soon, and I'll see if I'll link in the comments saying if it is better to put switch this out with body count. But again, it will take up higher capacity, so I would keep that in mind if you are going to add it. Also, then we got True Steel, which increases the critical chance. Again, I like this is very good. I would again, it's in my opinion, it's a mod that you don't realistically need for most combat. In my opinion, it's really good. I like it quite a lot. But Blood Rush will add it will add enough critical chance to your build. Like it adds like 120%, which is double this, and just by getting to one combat multiplier, which is really easy. But I like having that initial critical chance add onto this weapon so that you can proc your berserk quicker. Because again, this weapon, especially for this weapon, because it's so slow, I would definitely I would definitely like to have that extra critical chance, that extra oomph in my weapon, so that I can get to that 75% critical, 75% attack speed, just straight up. Even quicker. I like having that on so I can get to that point even quicker. And it's just a mod that I appreciate. I like having it on. You can switch it out easily. You can probably switch it out Fury if you still want to, which I was going to get into soon for Reach. So probably switch these over because they're both in the thing. But we'll talk about Reach now. It's personally up to preference for this weapon. I think having the slow attack speed's okay. I'm fine with that. But I also like having Reach on because it's a dual sword. I can have that extra reach so you can get to more enemies. But really, it's up to preference. You can probably this is the mod you can probably switch out the most easiest with Fury. The benefits of having Fury, that makes it to 1.15. So that means you can you'll be doing that you'll be have your weapons will be faster when you're attacking. That means you can get more hits in. That means you're going to be doing you have more of a chance to actually proc a critical hit, so that you can increase your attack speed even faster, and you can do more damage to the enemy. But I like Reach having on this weapon because it can get more enemies at once, and you can be attacking one enemy and then doing damage to the enemy behind him as well. And I like that. I like for this weapon. I find that very good. But again, it's up to preference. You can either choose the Fury, which makes it so that you can get to that 75% added on attack speed, and also that like a high chance of getting critical hits into the enemy, or you can have it so that you can like hit the enemies and do damage to those enemies, and then the enemies behind them as well. And it's kind of up to preference as well. I'm okay. I occasionally switch them out. But most of the time I kind of just have both of them on. Occasionally I'll switch them out, but it's up to preference. You can either have one on, you can either have the other one on. Sometimes I'll just take out True Steel just to see what it's like. But for this build specifically, I put Reach on, and I'll show you how that goes, and then I'll probably show you with Fury after. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing else to really talk about. Yeah. Okay. Let's go down. I'll show you how this weapon goes. Again, this weapon isn't the best. As I said, I'm showing off a build for it. This weapon, it's very the stats for this weapon is like Galatine, but it's not as. Also, sorry about if you can hear the tapping of my mechanical keyboard. I apologize. I probably should have gotten a silent one. As you can see, it can get to the point where it does a lot of chunks of damage onto enemies. But when compared to the Galantine Prime, it's not as big as chunks, and it takes a lot longer. Okay, let's take out you. So you can see, like, once you get to that 3 times, you're doing a lot of damage. And in most engagements, you're going to be getting to that pretty easily. I'm about to fall off. There goes my little thing. Alright. So you can see about that. So I'll just wait for my little combo time. I'll show the attack speed without Fury on. But you can see it's a pretty good build. It's very effective for what it is, for the weapon it is. It's a build that makes this weapon more effective than it normally would. And it's just it's a good build for a not really good weapon, and I would recommend it if you do have this weapon to put this build on. You can probably put on a status build. I haven't built one of those yet, but you could if you want. I haven't tried one. I've just mainly put on a what was it? Crit build when I first got it, and I didn't really switch it out. And what the hell that is? The Fury. There it is. Okay, switch it out. I'll show you with the attack speed of Fury. So that's about the attack speed with Fury. So it's pretty fast with Fury. I'll go and actually show you without Fury, because that would probably be good. Let's take Fury off. Okay. I can see it's not as fast. It's a lot more slower, a lot more gradual. So if you do like fast weapons, you know, having that like more emphasis on like doing damage into one enemy and just doing as much as you can and building up that damage so you can go to the next enemy, you can put the Fury on. But if you're okay, but if you want to be someone that I forgot to put enemies out. If you want to be that kind of person that does damage to a group of enemies and kind of slowly like focus on an enemy, but as well weaken the enemies around them at the same time, I would also recommend putting that weapon on. Putting reach on. But again, as I said, up to preference. I do think it's probably this is a little better with Fury because you know you can actually attack quicker. Yeah, that's with Fury. It's a little better. You do damage more. What do you say? You do damage on enemy a lot more. You do more damage onto the enemy. Gee, I'll just quick finish up. You do more damage onto the enemy, but you won't be because it's kind of hard to explain. But let's go one over here and try and focus on one thing instead of me fighting and also talking at the same time. Kill enemies. So having Fury on, you do more damage onto the enemy, and then you'll kill them and you'll kill that enemy quicker, but then you have to go to the other enemy and restart that process and then slowly build up, because every single time like you attack an enemy and the very first enemy it will be very slow, and then you start doing a slow build up, and then you eventually kill them, and the next enemy, the very start of you attacking him will be you'll be doing more damage at the start of attacking enemy when compared to the enemy you just attacked before, because you have all those, like you have Blood Rush on, you have Berserker on, you have all these other mods procced on when you attack that enemy. But on the second enemy you're still going to be doing small amounts of damage at the very start and then slowly doing more damage because of the slash also proccing on. With reach, that's less, if you're able to hit enemies behind them or near them while you're attacking this one enemy, that other enemy is also going to be still weak, and it's not going to be, the start isn't going to be as slow because you already have slash procced onto him most likely, because slash procs really quickly on this weapon, and you've already taken big chunks of his health out because of that attack, and you do weaken the enemies around you, and so you can kill them a little more quicker. But again, saying that, that's only if you do hit them and they could be far away. So it's up to preference, really. You can choose whichever one you want. I think I do prefer Fury. I just have reach on because I was just testing out reach before. But it's up to preference. I would choose Fury. But you know, it's whatever you want. And yeah. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you dislike it, leave a dislike. If you do leave a dislike, tell me in the comments why, so I can actually improve as a creator, because the only way you can improve is by getting criticism. Yeah, thank you for taking time out of your life to watch my shitty videos. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.